So first of all, before we get into any of that, I just want to say thank you, okay, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. And you know what? Since you're here, since you're watching, listening, I'm going to give you a discount because you're here now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Vibing Out with Texony. I'm your host, Texony, aka Mr. WorldVibe, and we're here a year later. So 1 year of podcasting and one book to celebrate. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about how this year of podcasting has been. So many events, so many things have happened. We got to talk about it all. We're going to talk about the book a little bit for those who just want some more information about it. And then we're going to talk about what's to come. So what's to come in the future, because we're just getting started. So first of all, before we get into any of that, I just want to say thank you, okay, from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. Whether it's your first or second time watching or listening, or whether you've been here from the beginning of this community, you mean a lot to me. Your views, your support, I feel it and I appreciate it. So if you appreciate me appreciating you, then if you're watching on YouTube, give it a like quickly. It takes 1 second. You're probably done liking it. Perfect. Okay, thank you. And if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the vibes, subscribe to the vibes. However you're watching, listening, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you're here now and I appreciate it. So yeah, stay here for a bit. So 3 things are going to happen in this, celebration episode, you can call it. We got to review, we got to look back, talk about what this podcast came from, talk about some of the achievements. We got to review everything. We're going to talk about the book second, like I said, and then what's to come in the future. So let's begin. And man, we could go as far back as to 2019 when I was planning this podcast. One of the biggest questions I get asked about this whole thing is people will say, Tex, what inspired you to make this podcast? And that's a tough question because there was so much going on in my life. This was around November, December 2019. So I started planning the podcast for 3 or 4 months before I actually released it. And a lot of things were going on in my life. So let's delve into that. So, there were people in my life that were helping me, that were teaching me a lot of things. I had a business mentor, shout out Emrinder. I had a friend who, still good friends to this day, who's having spiritual conversations with me, enlightening me about a lot of things. Shout out Hazel or Project Anti-Porta, okay? And then I had, a friend of mine who was helping me a lot with health and fitness tips and, perspectives. So shout out Ryan. So I had people in my life that were inspiring me in all certain different types of ways. I also started listening to a lot of podcasts at that time. Yeah, I just realized what podcasts were, like I said, in late 2019. I started listening to so many. I think the first one I listened to was My 7 Chakras by AJ, School of Greatness, okay, by Lewis Howes, Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial, and On Purpose by Jay Shetty. So I'm just kind of going through a few that were that I've been listening to. But yeah, I was getting into podcasts heavily, like hours per day, just listening and listening, just soaking up information from my friends, mentors, podcasts. And I also had a friend of mine who was making podcasts at the time, Rashad. So I've actually thanked him in person about this. So all this put together, I was thinking, how do I reach out to people? Like, I want to create a community to make impact as I'm seeing all these podcasters do. I have a mic, I have a laptop, I can do this too. It's not that hard. And I just started planning towards it. And once I said I'm going to do it, I started contacting people, getting the help of so many people around me. And yeah, I took a lot of time to plan it, but I wanted to release it, April 1st. And I'm glad I planned before, because when the pandemic hit, we didn't think the pandemic would last a whole year. When it initially started, we thought it'd be, 2-3 weeks and then we'd come back to normal, but nah. So even the fact that we're here a year later, that kind of amazes me, because there's been a lot of challenges in, meeting up with people, getting resources, getting people's attention, because we're all online more now. So it's so hard to like capture people's attention and hold on to it. So a lot of challenges and stuff, but I said I'm going to make the podcast, and April 1st, 2020, we launched. So let's go through and review like what that launch day was like and some of the videos and, clips from that. So let's roll that for a sec. Why Vibing Out with Texony? What is this podcast about? What are you doing here? Hello, let me explain, all right? So there is a purpose, mission, a statement, whatever you want to call it, right? This is a community, right? To give local voices a public platform to share ideas, knowledge, and perspectives. So let me break that down, right? So
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vibing Out with Texony. All right, I'm really excited. I was gonna record this episode or this podcast episode like way earlier on, but I decided to wait until this moment, until right before I released it, because I had no idea what life would be like around this time, and I couldn't have predicted anything.
Wow. Okay. So as you can see, it's been a while. I still remember that first day I launched the first episode. That was episode 0. I took a walk right out here. You can't really see, but I woke up in the morning. Before I even checked how many downloads, I was like, let me take a walk. Took a walk over there, checked my phone. Episode 0 had 50 or so downloads in the first, I went for my walk in the morning at like 9 a.m. So seeing the amount of support that first day was crazy. And I knew at that point, we got to keep going with this. And since then, we've had some pretty good achievements. Let me just read some of them. I have them written down here. So obviously, we're on our second season, which is crazy. 2 seasons in, 80 plus episodes now. This is the 81st episode. I've done some episodes in between, but basically, yeah, over 80 episodes. I have 5 series. So I started out with just the Thursday thoughts, like this one, Psych Saturdays, Feature Fridays, and Topic Tuesdays. And then I added Music Mondays as well as its own separate podcast. So we're just growing with the series as it goes. Almost 3,500 downloads. That's crazy. I never knew how many downloads I'd be getting. That's insane. Y'all have been really showing support, downloading the episodes. And it's been tough because when we moved on to YouTube, now the downloads are split between if you want to watch on YouTube or listen on the audio version. So to see us getting more and more downloads, that's so encouraging. All right. And speaking of YouTube, over 2,100 YouTube views so far. It's been crazy. It's been such a transition going on to YouTube. But after season 1, I did a survey and I was like, what do you guys want to see? A lot of people said video content. And so we had to go onto YouTube. And then we just have more to come with that. More videography, more expansion there. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you what's to come. I've had 17 guests as well. That's crazy. 17 different people have come onto this podcast, share their ideas and perspectives. And a lot of y'all say that you love the Feature Fridays, the guest appearances the most. I can't even disagree. These are the most important things to me, is connecting with people and having people on and spend their time and their energy. I learned so much as an individual. I can't even imagine how much you guys learned by watching and listening. So that's been amazing. And we have more and more guests that are planned to come on. So thank you to all my guests one time. And 3 giveaways. Okay, we did the Air Podcast giveaway to start season 1. We did a Vibe Check giveaway where we gave away a few little things and $100. And then we did the Vibe Pack giveaway. So yeah, it's been nice to give away some things to the community, and we're going to do more and more of these as time goes. We've also created a Patreon community and raised almost $700 so far, which is crazy. It's so crazy to think that you can make money from what you love to do. But if you do something for long enough and you put so much effort into it and you have a community as great as ours here, people will invest in you. And that's what we have with the Patreon. So if you're a patron and you're watching this or listening, you already know you're a real one, and you know how much your contributions mean to me and this community, right? You're helping us grow it. And if you've heard about the Patreon, but you were like, why would I join? There's a lot of reasons to join. But number one is you're helping me and you're helping us here. Your $2 or so goes so far, trust me. And so having this Patreon community, man, That's like the heart and soul of this community. It really is. So that's meant so much to me as well. I didn't know I'd be making money from the podcast in less than a year. So it's been crazy. And, we've given away products. That's been dope too. I have 2 products. Number 1, my custom Vibing Out masks. Okay. I made 50 of them, custom made with the logo on. Really dope masks. Sold most of them. I only have a few left for guests on the podcast. And if you want to go to the merch website, you can get one. There's not a lot left. So go now. It's actually the same place that I'm selling my book. So it works perfectly. And obviously the book, we're going to talk about that soon as we're done reviewing the vibes here. But overall, what have I learned? That's a big question, because I want to reflect for a sec. Like, what have I learned from a year of podcasting? Number 1, I did learn how to make podcasts. Obviously, okay, I've made over 75 actual podcast episodes, but I remember that first one I made, my introduction, and like some of the first episodes I was making, I had a lot of notes, okay? I use Google Docs and I jot notes for all my episodes. I had about 5 or 6 pages of notes per episode in the beginning, like almost like word for word scripts of what I was going to say. But now, as you move on with things, as you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you have to get better and faster. You have to work smarter, as they say. So as I was progressing with the podcast, I was making less and less notes. And I heard this in an episode of, I think, Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial, is to get better at something, you have to be more efficient at it. That's how you know you're getting better. And yeah, so now to this day, I only make a few jot notes to keep myself on topic. And I fill in the rest with just what comes out of my soul, my heart, my mind. Like I just let it free flow. And I hope you guys, enjoy that more. It's just more natural at this point, and that only comes with practice. So I've learned how to podcast, I would say. Recording, editing, I'm getting better at. Being on video was a bit of a challenge at first, but you just try it out a little bit and it works, and then you just slowly learn and get better. Simple as that. I learned a lot about community, okay? People, right? How to interview people, how to bring people in the community, and how to get them wanting to be on the podcast, how to get good ideas out of them and great conversations. These have been some of the most important things to me, is the connections I've made and kept and appreciated through this podcast. We did a few, celebrations. I forgot to mention in our achievements in the review, but yeah, having people around, waking up every day, I just say in my head, I open my eyes in the morning and I think, let's get to work, because I got a community to serve. That feeling is the best feeling in the entire world. Waking up knowing I have a purpose to help people, to serve people, and to impact this community. So when I get messages from you guys like, whoa, like that episode really helped me, or I love seeing your motivation, I love seeing what you do, you're so positive, you're so encouraging, those make my day. They do, and they keep me going. So you have no idea how much you guys mean to me, but that's what I've learned, is the community aspect is so important for, my emotional health, my mental health. It's just so important for anybody, is the value of community, social support. And yeah, I'm blessed. We have almost over 400 followers on Instagram. So we're getting there. I also learned some personality traits, you could say, commitment. Like I've been very committed to this podcast. As you guys can see, I've never missed anything I said I was going to do, from an episode to a giveaway to a video to a post. Like I'm consistent. People always tell me that, Tex, I see how consistent you are. I appreciate it. And I say, yeah, you know what? I guess I am now, because usually in the past I would say I'm going to do this or do that, and I start it and I don't finish it. I don't even, get to it. But doing this podcast has taught me the importance of, consistency, commitment, and how hard it is, but how rewarding it is. So I really gotta say, yes, I've learned that through this podcast, and it's a good feeling. As well as discipline, staying hard on yourself and things you have to do. Like I keep myself accountable for a lot of things, and I do what I say I'm gonna do every day. And this translates to even things like working out or meditating or doing the things I have to do so I can do the things I want to do. Like I work 12 hours a day on this podcast. You guys wouldn't know that, but yeah, and I don't have a boss to tell me, Tex, get to work, Tex, work 12 hours a day. I gotta figure that out myself. I gotta make that work in my day, and I find a way, right? That's the discipline that I've learned as well. So these kinds of personality traits and habits, routines, you can call them, that's what you get for doing something outside your comfort zone. So, I mean, if any of you guys listening want to make a podcast, hit me up. Let's talk about it. Let me find ways to help you, whether it's just putting our heads together and collaborating. I definitely suggest it. Following the things that you want to do. They might not lead to money at first, but they might eventually lead to money. So I wouldn't want to discourage anyone and say, don't try this, because another thing I learned is failure. I've learned how to fail, and I appreciate it. Like, I don't feel bad if I make a post and no one likes it and it doesn't get as much attention and it doesn't generate revenue or doesn't generate any conversations. It just sits there and no one really liked it. That's a little mini failure in my head, but I've made so many posts. I've made so many podcasts that didn't get a lot of appreciation or at least just views and downloads. I've made some like that, and I think, okay, let me reflect on it. It's a chance to learn and to grow. Because I've been so committed to this, I've had instances of failure, and that's taught me so much more. So learning how to fail really keeps you from being afraid to try. A lot of people don't want to start something because they're afraid to fail. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're probably going to have many failures along the way, but can't not start because you're afraid of what's going to happen in the future. So that's one thing I want to really, really tell people is, like, if you want to try doing something, making a podcast, starting an Instagram page of anything, like making food or drawing or anything, just start it. Like, we always say, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to be doing this soon. Man, actions speak louder than words. One action is worth way more than a million words. So just start it. I'm always here to help and just to have conversations with you guys, because I want to find ways to get y'all going. I want to find ways to keep inspiring this community. So yeah, that's what I've learned, and very important lessons for me. And I hope that y'all can take that as well. What else did I learn? How to vibe out. So let me talk about the ebook for a sec, because damn, man, we're here. It's been a year, and that's what we have to celebrate, is an entire book I made for y'all. So let's get into that. Let's talk about the ebook for a sec. So How to Vibe Out, an ebook, is out today, April 1st, 365 days after the start of this podcast. And I had no idea I'd be making a book, y'all. I did not know I'd be an author, but here we are. And you might have seen some of the posts, some of the, previews where I've talked about the book and this and that, but let me go a little more into depth here since I have you here for a sec. I started writing this book September 2020, so it's been about 6 months, and woke up every morning at 4:44, went downstairs to my kitchen table, would make a coffee, drink some water, and I would just start writing ideas. It just started out as me reflecting on my ideas that I've been gaining as I went through the podcast, season 1 and, going into season 2. All these conversations I've had with people, all these podcasts I've listened to and videos I've watched, experiences I've had, I just started writing them down, little mini chapters. And then I figured, okay, you know what? This is getting fun. Let me make a little mini book. And then as I kept going and writing and more, I was like, this is actual product that people might really like to read. So I might just end up selling this. And that just motivated me more, right? Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of periods of writer's block. That's real. So I had to use that discipline and commitment that I learned with this podcast and wake up every morning and write for 1 to 2 hours every day, right? So it came with its challenges. I'm telling you. I wanted to have the book out by February. Then I said March. And then I said, you know what? April 1st makes sense because that's literally a year. And so once I set that date, I had to finish. And it's been great because I've collaborated with so many people for this book, on ideas, podcasts, on how to write, on editing, on visuals. So, I mean, it's been a huge process with so many people as a part of it, which I wouldn't realize. But, it's been rewarding. It has. I mean, seeing the book come out today, I'm so excited to hear how you liked the book. So when you download it, when you buy it, which The link's going to be in the description of this podcast, so get the book. And you know what? Since you're here, since you're watching, listening, I'm going to give you a discount because you're here now. If you don't have a discount at all, I'm going to provide you with one. So when you're at the checkout section of the website, when you're buying the book, see where it says discount code or coupon code? Put this in, 25 support. One word, and it's not case sensitive. You can use uppercase, lowercase. 25 support. You're going to save 25%. Just because you're here taking in this episode, I want you to save a little bit if you don't have a discount code already. So there you go. Get the book, and yeah, let me know what you like about it. When you start reading it and getting some of the ideas, give me some feedback. I love the feedback, and I'm just excited to see how the book changes, helps, and uplifts your guys' life. So yeah, it's been amazing making the book. I know it's so rewarding. If I can make a book in 6 months, there's nothing stopping you from starting your book, because we all have life experiences. We all can write something. So yeah, I mean, I hope seeing me become an author helps you think, you know what? I could do the same thing. And again, I'm here to help. I'm here to collaborate, talk ideas with you. Let some of the things I do be a way to help you do some of the things you do, and vice versa, right? I like seeing the community achieve things, and that just pushes me and motivates me so much more. So all in all, the book is just over 80 pages. I think it's 22 chapters. And yeah, it's nice. It's a nice read. It's good because the chapters are not super long. Most of them are short. And so you can read an entire chapter in like 5 or so minutes, put the book down, let that like marinate in your brain. You go throughout your day thinking about it. And when you come back, you're ready for a new chapter. So you don't have to fly through the book, but you can take it in sections, especially if you're busy and you're on the go. You can take in enough of the book where you can, digest a whole chapter, go do your thing, and come back. So there's also links on the book. So at the bottom of the chapters, you can click the links and it opens up more information, because this book is like a template for more learning, for more knowledge. So that's what I wanted to make it. And yeah, you're going to love it. So make sure you get the book. Let's finish with what's to come. Because, we just got started. It's only been a year, but we have more to do with this podcast. I'm telling you, we got more to do. First of all, is there going to be another book? Definitely. Once you write a book, you just want to write another and another. But the truth of the matter is, I don't have anything to say anymore. I put my heart, my soul onto that book, and I've left everything there. So I really need some time to go through life and get some experiences and have something to write. I don't want to just write, because I could write another book with the same ideas, just part 2, but it's more about quality over quantity, right? I want to write a good book, so I need to go through life experiences. That being said, it might come out another book in 2 to 5 years. We'll see. But it might have something to do with the podcast, or it might be something completely different. Who knows? So yeah, we just have to wait on another book, because I just want to celebrate this book first. I want to live in the moment here. So, but in the future, you'll see more of these kinds of work from me. So yes, another book is coming one day. As for season 2, we have more guests lined up. We're going to finish season 2 around midsummer, I would say. I'll take a few months off, as I did after season 1, to, have some downtime. It's like a mini vacation. But it's funny, because after season 1, I made 3 episodes a day on my vacation. Just very short ones, audio episodes, so they weren't hard to make. They weren't tough to make, but we'll see what I do in my off time. I do need some downtime from the podcast to re-strategize, because season 3 is going to be big. I'm going to get a studio, a Vibe studio. So it's going to be exclusively for this podcast, because that's what the Patreon is for, right? We're saving up to get this Vibe studio, and everybody on there is helping me reach that goal even faster. So one more time, join the Patreon, help out this community, get the book, download the book. It's gonna serve you so well. I hope it changes your life. I hope it uplifts your life. I know it will. And yeah, we have so much more in store for this podcast. I just wanted to stop and check in a year later, do this Thursday Thoughts, and just talk to you guys about what it's been like a little bit. So if anybody wants to interview me about the book, just holla. I'll do interviews, okay? My prices are low. But man, it's been real. I'm so happy. I'm so appreciative of of all of you guys for being here. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. We have so much more to do with these vibes. So have a happy April. I'll see you guys very soon. And yeah, thanks for vibing out with me for a whole year. So I'll see you next episode. This has been Vibing Out with Texony. I'm your host, Texony, aka Mr. WorldVibe. And I'm signing out. Peace.